podcasts on WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand.
We have one brain that we share between us.
To talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D second edition podcast ever.
For a while was a virgin halfling who came to the Forgotten Realms from Dark Sun.
This is better than tossing dwarves. Hi, folks. THACO's Hammer. We're back again for more show, number 58. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. I'm DM Glen, and we have DM Brian, as he's heard him a moment ago.
Good evening, folks. How's it going out there?
And Mr. DM Full-On Gamer.
Greetings, Gamer Nation. We are back. We're at it again. Let us loose the dogs of war.
Yes, and so we are minus a Corey this time, but that's all right. We'll just talk more. Give them more per pound, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let's go to Hits and Crits.
What are you doing tonight? I don't know. What are you doing tonight? The burlesque, Louie's Paradise, miserable and lonely and stupid. What am I, crazy or something? I got something good here. What am I hanging around with you guys for?
Hits and Crits.
Okay, Hits and Crits. Somebody else start what they've been doing this week. I got to think about mine for a bit.
Okay, I'll start. Just been still doing the little converting characters over into electronic format, and I actually printed one out just to see how it looks, and it looks pretty good. If I ever had a desire to run a con game, I'd probably, and I was using pre-gens, I'd probably use these sheets because it looks really good.
You're one of those guys.
Using cheat gens, or you're using one of the other tools out there? Like, I did pretty good work with some pre-gens using the D&D Core Rules 2.0 system.
Oh yeah, that's another thing, because those are in like you put them in like RTF format or pure text and stuff like that. They print out pretty good either, but the problem is you have to go back and do editing because it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing, our Core Rules expansion, but it's lacking in quite a few areas. You kind of got to work around it.
There's a learning curve, but yes. I'm sure yours are good too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they are. I mean, they're the same sheets I gave you guys for the AP podcast.
So you're still putting your stuff in digital format?
Yes, still doing that.
You're one of those guys, even before computers came out. I'm writing my stuff down. These are the guys that are going to be doing it for 25 years and then die.
Glenn, I've been doing it for what, 32 now?
Okay. And you're about due, aren't you? Okay.
I'm not. Hey! Don't say that too loud. My girlfriend will get upset.
All right, we'll call those guys the Greenwoods.
The Greenwoods. Okay. That's a compliment. I'll take that.
Sure. Why not? What you been doing, Full On?
Well, I got done with some Army missions, but still was able to squeeze in a little bit of some gaming. No RPG gaming, but I was able to do Betrayal at House on the Hill, which was a fine little, tabletop game.
Uh-huh.
A little bit of Edition Wars. Got some people interested in that, so.
I've heard nothing but good things about that House on the Hill.
Betrayal at House on the Hill is Clue on steroids for role players.
Wow.
I thought
it's different every time you play it, and you build the map as you go.
I thought for some reason it was Arkham Clue. It was.
They probably have that too.
It was Cthulhu with the Forbidden Book at the.
In the City of Brass.
Oh, I just gave away $1 million idea to somebody else out there. Great. Okay, fine. I could make a fortune with that. Yeah. Not much did the D&D game, and the guy who spent all 15 minutes existing in the world to die, he created another character, and that one died after a half hour.
Wow.
I have no idea. I can't remember how he got killed, but he's on, his 7th character now?
Wow.
Something like that.
Tell him to stop trying to rape the rust monster.
I know, we're never gonna.
There's a propeller back there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found him, in the dungeon, tied up and stuff, and it's like, wait a minute, weren't you the guy who played the guy who raped the...
I'm the dude that's playing,
did that.
dresses another dude who's playing another dude?
Yeah, there you go. Something like that. Other than that, I haven't really I've got, an Eberron book, we told you about that before, but I've got a copy of Ed Greenwood Presents Elminster's Forgotten Realms.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, you told me about this.
I found one at half price for like 20. This retails for 40. This is a pretty recent book. Within the last 6 months this was published. And it's probably one of the few times I've given WotC money for a new book. And I didn't even get it new, so I got it at half price for half price. So it retails for about $40, and it's like all fluff. All fluff. So if you're looking for stats, don't look in this book. But... this is pure Ed Greenwood.
Nice.
This is Ed Greenwood talking about the realms. And it is interspersed.
Is it Ed talking about the realms or Elminster talking about the realms?
But it's
yeah, you do have to ask that question. They are a little bit different. Just a little.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's interspersed with these pictures of reproductions of his actual stuff, notes, and things he sent to Dragon about
back in the early 80s.
The day.
All
typewritten. It's got like stuff written on here. Like this one section, The Secret History of the Zentarum. It reproduces this page of a fifth look at the Forgotten Realms. Page 8 of 46, it's got like this chart, like a business chart, like who's on top, who's under who worships who's trying to backstab who, blah, 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 blah.
Awesome.
First flow chart outlining the ever-changing hierarchy of the Zentarum.
Well, Manchun's usually at the top.
And he is, son of a gun.
Yeah.
It's got Azul over here, who's being Bane at the time, la-da-da-da-da-da, and it goes on. And the book is just full of this. It's got beautiful art. I mean, like I said, I'm not really one to push a new WotC book, but go get this, baby. It is nice. If you need
start into that.
Yeah, and I spend most of my time on the back trying to scratch out the D&D Insider logo.
Now, Glenn, let's be nice.
That's my biggest pet peeve about the new WotC and 4E. Really, it's like, I want, I'm not getting a subscription. Thank you. I got enough stuff.
Yeah, well, I used to do the same thing with all the little RPGA owner sheets in the back of supplements and modules back in the day. I used to take them out, just wad them up and throw them out because I was too poor to afford that kind of stuff.
To me, it's like MMOs. I'm not going to do an MMO. Thank you. I don't want to keep putting money in the slot machine. Thank you.
So come to the Tor side of the Force and be free to play.
I'm putting.
There's a hand wave happening here.
I think he resisted it.
I resisted it because that also means I put my time into the slot machine. He never ended.
You want to run up to a Sith Lord and kick him in the nuts with your smuggler.
With your first level smuggler.
Look, that may work on my grandsons with Wizard 101, but it ain't going to work on me, buddy.
Oh, that's funny.
What I'm talking about? You tried this Jedi stuff on me.
Hey, if mind tricks don't work, I can always throw giant boulders, engine parts, and droids at you.
Wow! No, you can't. Anyway, that's what
you do. A very good Watto. That's excellent.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, that's what we've been doing. We got any emails?
Yes. Before I get into one of our emails, we got one from a longtime contributor to the show, Travis Harmbringer Nicholson.
Yay!
And he said, "Hey all, I'm getting ready for war again and I need a new weapon. This is my THACO Dwarven Hammer, SCA legal secondary and thrown weapon. So at Estrella War, I shall bring the hammer down."
All
and
right.
he included a picture which will be going up on our Facebook page, and I'll be putting it up on Twitter as well. So you guys who hear this in the next several days, go and check it out. It's awesome.
So he can throw it too?
Yeah, he can throw it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you very much.
That's like one of the best shout-outs we've ever gotten.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Getting into an actual email. This is from Russell Selkirk.
Hi, Russ.
Okay. He says, was just listening to your podcast and how the discussion rolled around to how long combat rounds are. We had a big argument on the Old School Gamers Facebook page. Yeah, I saw that argument, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. About this.
How long did it last?
It lasted a while, apparently. It either lasted a lot of rounds or several rounds, depending on who.
It was rivaled only by the what trope of fantasy gaming you think should take a rest thread.
I can only imagine that. Okay, continues. I've played with many DMs, all of whom have used different variations of combat round length, everything from 6 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute, and a few that are handled more nebulously. I have to side with the shorter timed rounds. I prefer 10 seconds myself versus the 1 minute round, and for much the same reason one person the podcast brought up is probably me, that being anyone who has been it's full on actually. Yeah, anyone who has actually been in combat will tell you real fighting lasts for more than a few minutes is rare and completely exhausting. Yeah. I've done enough LARPing to know that part of it. It was used in the Beckme editions, and since that's what I started with, it was what most of the DMs I played with towards the beginning were using. Now, when you get to mass combat, things might be different, but for most everything that regular adventurers will be exposed to are going to be using the shorter 10-second rounds in any D&D game I have or will run. Just thought I'd toss in my 2 cents. Everyone keep up the good work, and DM Glenn, you always are my favorite DM rock star.
Thank you. What was his name again?
Russell Selkirk.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Russell. Send him one of those headshots of me and sign my name.
You can do that.
Use the stamp.
My last name isn't Tessmacher, okay? You can do that.
Well, just use the stamp, okay?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Thank you very much. So rounds of battle, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually go at 10 seconds. Some people use a minute. I'm just like, a minute isn't realistic, at least not to me. And Full On, who's seen more combat than either one of us will ever see in the remaining years we have on this earth, he pretty much agrees with some of that. Right?
Really?
Yeah. But again, depending on the style of play you're using, I can see the benefit in also using so anything short is good. Anything that is intense is good. If it's that type of game you're playing, it's good. I mean, 10 seconds is good. 20 seconds kind of tops it out if you're using the D20 for initiative, just to be using the D20 for everything. D10 is nice and comfortable for everyone to maneuver around also. The D6 is a bit short and wonky. And, of course, there's things like if you wanted to incorporate other system things like Cyberpunk and their 2.5-second combat rounds, but they're shooting at people.
Yeah, exactly. You're shooting highly modified assault weapons at people. So, yeah.
And remember, Full On knows this because he's short and intense. Or is that short and wonky? I don't know. Short and intense. I like that.
I'm not that short. I'm 6 foot in boots.
Got those lifts in there, huh?
Oh wow, dude!
No, I tell you, he comes up to about the middle of my chest, but he's the only man I want in front of me if there was trouble.
Yeah, or telling me what to do.
Yes.
Being
a
soldier in our armed forces, yes.
I will have Full On's back. He will have my back, but I have a feeling he'll get more back than I will. But I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah, you're digging a hole there. You better stop. Okay, moving on to the next email. This is from John Fredericks, a.k.a. T-Man. We all know him on OSR Gaming.
Hi, T-Man, the guy who didn't run our basic game.
Hi, T-Man, the only other contributor other than Kojo to call in to THACO's or to the Lost Holocron podcast. And leave emails.
On Sod, we said he ran a Skype game for us, and it turned out it was Angry Monk.
Oops.
We had to fix that.
Whoops.
Anyway, T-Man says.
He says, hey, folks, I'm in the process of catching up on THACO's Hammer shows from the past few months. Thanks for the show. You guys are great. You're welcome. He says, I wanted to specifically thank you for your policy of no addition bashing on THACO's Hammer. There's just way too much of it out there. We are in a small niche hobby. There's no point in splitting a tiny base even further through snarkiness. Though obviously your focus is 2E, I enjoy how you compare and contrast the rules with the other systems. You sometimes express how 2E does something more to your taste, but you guys do it without the snark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, pausing that right there. Yeah. Well, we all agreed. We all basically made a pact, Glenn, back in the beginning that, even if we have an issue with a previous or future edition of D&D, there is no need to be a dick about it. And, yeah, I mean, I'm on Dragon's Foot, which is one of the, shall I say, snarkier places. It's not as bad as like N-World or anything like that, but every once in a while when there's a disagreement between one or two or three or more parties, it can start getting rather uncivilized really quickly. And as I sit back and I read these posts, and sometimes I'm inspired to say something, sometimes I'm not. Most of the time, I'm not actually.
Yeah, when it gets down to Yo Mama, it's about time to either close the polls or stop reading.
Yo Mama is so ugly. Anyway, yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a way to discuss an issue that you are at odds with another person on the internet without it turning into third or fourth grade humor. And I'm being generous, but
and the Jay and Silent Bob solution is always there. We can find people's addresses and spend some air miles.
Then there's that.
Especially you with the guns.
Yeah. Well, Full-On no one has that much of a problem with Full-On because most of them have the sense not to bring it up. Because, I remember when you were still living in Colorado and you had your garage broken into, and I heard the anger in your voice about the incident. I'm like, I'm never crossing this man.
By the way, did it ever resolve itself?
No.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
That's unfortunate. Okay, to continue with the email. In my experience at the table/Skype, depends on a lot more on the people at that table than the game system, and even less on whether you use ascending or descending armor class. Yeah, amen to that. Sure, a DM will have preferences as to how they want to run things. I certainly do, but that's not what brings the fun to the table. The DM brings the fun by thinking on the fly and being fair to the players. The players bring the fun by working with each other and not being a insert bad word here. Thanks again, and I'd be curious as to your thoughts on this matter. May 2E and all the other editions live on forever. T-Man.
Thank you, T-Man. Now we're never going to hear the end of it from Brian.
What's that supposed to mean?
Exactly what I said.
The rule is the rule is the rule, and the rule is D-bad. D-B-A-D.
Mm-hmm.
D-bad.
And that means?
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Rule 0, according to a lot of posts online, in the words of the King of Snark, Wesley Crusher himself, Will Wheaton. Rule 0.
He's not the King of Snark, but okay.
Well, at least to me, is I see his Twitter feed every day, and he's pretty snarky. Okay. But anyway,
sorry, for a guy who grew up with Rickles, he's not snarky.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a different kind of snark. It's generational now.
I guess.
As far as what T-Man said, I agree 100%. The players, when you go into a game with a DM, there are two unwritten pacts that they sign. The first one is
blood.
Well, come on. let's not get the Bible thumpers get them aroused, so to speak, because that's what they think we do.
No, we just pick our thumbs and we rub them together.
Yeah, sign our names in our blood. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The first pact is that if you have an issue with the game, talk to the DM after gaming is done. Don't stop the game by arguing over whatever rule it is, no matter how trivial or important, so to speak, it is. Mm-hmm. Second one is, it's like, look, if you're all playing good characters, I understand when players have separate agendas, and sometimes that may clash with whatever goal the party's trying to achieve, but don't look to screw your fellow players over, because that's a fast way to not get invited back to the gaming table. And that's just how I feel about it.
Yes, you're not playing White Wolf. What?
This isn't Vampire the Masquerade, exactly.
Or
you could be more right about that.
Or Paranoia, for that matter.
Exactly.
Well, that's the stated goal rule 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. No, stated goal rule 1, the computer is your friend. That's rule 1. Rule 2, everyone around
crazy.
Watch back, keep your laser handy. I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, but thank you.
Go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead.
Thank you, T-Man. And truer words were never spoken.
No, and I wish more people thought this way. There'd be a lot less conflict, snark and conflict on the internet. Yes.
Snark. Yeah. So, thank you, T-Man. Do we have any other emails?
No, that's all the ones we have for
That's
now.
all? Okay,
that's
cool.
it.
Well, maybe you guys might fill our box up again, our mailbox. Anyway, with THACOsHammer@gmail.com.
Glenn?
Yes?
You need to talk to your wife after you're done here, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Why, am I in trouble again?
No, no, the exact opposite.
But anyway,
anyhow,
we have a number.
That is 405-806-0555.
Oh, truer words were never spoken. All right, let's get into the people skills.
The face is familiar.
It's mine.
And so it is.
Oh, yes, of course. It stands out a mile, doesn't it? He's so common.
A little lady comes in here and starts throwing her butt around. What is that supposed to do?
All right, forget I said anything.
Maybe I will.
Well, that's pretty good.
Don't tell me you weren't looking at it.
Well, that's not half bad.
She's giving it right back to you.
People skills.
People skills. All right. We're going to rock the Casbah here and go to the desert world of Atheus for Dark Sun this episode.
That's correct.
So grab your dinosaur and load up on the psionics and let's go. Let's see. We're dealing with the mule. Mule.
Yeah.
And
just a burden except without an E at the end.
Yeah, that's true. I always wanted, 40 acres of sand and a mule. But
just on some of the tables where they have the E in there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, I never caught that. Wow.
Aging effects, height and weight.
Wow, who knew?
A mistake.
How? Oh, yeah, that's never happened.
Okay, these are the half-dwarfs, I understand.
Correct.
Without beards?
Without beards. And with facial markings and things like that.
Well, they're full dwarves there, too, also.
That's funny. I don't...
You do have full dwarves in Darkstun, yes.
Yeah, I've never run across anything that has explained them. Can you explain a little more about it? Just a little? Because I'm trying to find it, in desperation as I'm vamping here. And, they
were born to a life of slave labor, and probably there were some either very lonely humans or some very lonely dwarves or some combination thereof.
Yeah.
No discussion as to whether or not beards are present or not.
That's true.
But it was one of the gladiatorial prisons that they kind of spawned out of, it looks like, and it's a crossbreed of human and dwarf, however you want that to go along. Perhaps it was magically enhanced by some slave trader wanting to enhance their stock in labor or fighters or whatever. You know, people do that. Anything happens when magic's involved.
Right.
And the slaves to the Wizard Kings are called government mules.
But
yeah.
Thank you. But
the crime lords are the drug mules. Yes, we know that. Carry on.
Oh, jeez. Okay, but getting back on topic before it completely derails.
He always does that.
See, the funny part is that I've played in Dark Sun, you know, a little while. I think I played a mule gladiator, as a matter of fact.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, the mules, you know, as you can see in a picture in the box set, you know, they're hairless and they're extremely muscular. They have the dwarven stamina. You know, they even say in the game where mule laborers can do heavy work for days at a time without stopping. You know, so that's one of the reasons why why they continue to be, you know, perpetuated, even though mules themselves are sterile. They can never have any more mules.
One of the interesting things they do with the mule is they give you an actual choice. You have to make a distinction and determine if your mule player character is going to advance as a human or as a demi-human.
Mm-hmm.
They make you choose. How half-dwarf are you?
Yeah. Yeah, you could be half-dwarf, or you could just have a little sprinkling in there somehow. You know, somebody's gene, is going to be the dominant gene, be the dwarven side or the human side. So yeah.
So what happens if they're half elf and half dwarf? Are they still mules?
No, that would be a dwelf. I have those elves.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or a half halfling, that'd be a quarterling.
Yeah, quarterling. Yep, you got it right.
Okay.
Unless its other half is half ogre.
Oh dear.
We call them hibbits.
Hibbits? Okay.
So the hobbits, yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. You know, most mules are slaves, and, you know, as I've said, they're mostly involved in slave labor. A lot of them end up being gladiators, you know, because they are just built like tanks. They're 6 to 6.5 feet tall, and they weigh 240 to 300 pounds. They're basically like pro wrestlers.
Wow.
And, you know, they don't have hair at all. No beards, no facial hair. Hair. What?
They're totally bald.
Yes, completely, head to toe.
But they got tattoos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's not all. It says most mules, whether male or female, have no hair or beard. Most. Some can have hair or beards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's not so interesting. But yeah,
they have pointy ears that sweep back. That's their only other distinguishing demi-human feature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, they even say that most of them never seek out friends or companionship because of their lives, you know, because they're basically in servitude their entire lives, and, you know, out of hatred and spite, they do what they're supposed to do. They don't learn to trust most of the time. But there are exceptions, hence player characters. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they go on adventures.
Yeah, exactly. They can be clerics, druids, fighters, gladiators.
Do they have a level cap?
That's where you have to make your distinction. You have to choose if you're considered a demi-human or human. As a human, you have unlimited advancement in any class and be dual-classed. Yep. As a demi-human, you become multi-classed in accordance with the multi-class combinations. Mm. And then you have either that human or demi-human is what you're considered in all other ways.
Okay.
Yeah. And the thing, I'm looking at the level advancement in Dark Sun, which is, it's higher in level than, you know, the one in the player's handbook. But yeah, I mean, humans, as it says right down the list, every class is unlimited in advancement. Mules, let's see, 10th level's a cleric, 12 is a druid, unlimited in fighter, gladiator, and psionicist, believe it or not. That's kind of interesting. And 12th level is a thief.
Okay.
They get to add 2 to their initial strength scores, 1 to their constitution scores. They subtract 1 from their intelligence and 2 from their charisma.
Yep. Yeah, because they ain't quite so smart, and yeah, they're a little bitter.
Poor guys.
They do just fine. The character I played, I wish I had my character sheet, but unfortunately I don't. I think I threw it out years ago because I was never going to play with that particular group of players. And there we go. I'm sorry. Yeah, cut that out. And I wish I'd kept him because I had, pretty detailed stuff about the character. But, most mules, like they say, personality-wise, they're slow to trust and all that kind of stuff. But they make excellent warriors, which is one of the reasons why I took it. Because in any game system that I'm playing in, usually just to get used to it, and this is the first time I was playing Dark Sun, the first character class I usually pick is the easiest one to play, and in D&D that's almost always the fighter.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I played it, and we did some things. We played, I think, maybe about 3 months before we kind of got tired of it because, I've got. It plays almost directly into my issues with Dark Sun, which we will get into when we talk about the actual setting.
Right. Okay.
But mules, they're really good for. I mean, I'm surprised they're unlimited advancement as psionicis, but at the same time, it's
Dark Sun.
That's true, and also. I did read the first book in the Prism Pentad, which is a 5-book set, which was set in Dark Sun, which followed a mule, a wizard, and their friends and companions. And the mule character, his name was Lycus, I think his name was. He, I kind of liked that concept, so I just went with it for the game I was playing.
Cool. So you have a little experience there. Cool.
Just a little, a smattering, a splash, a sprinkling,
Okay. Sounds like something Full-On would like to play. I mean, you got the big strong guy, but he also has the option of slinging some magic around.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Being a cleric or even a fighter psionicist for that matter.
Oh God, I don't want to get into. I don't want
to. Weaponry is the Hisnit.
Yes, it is.
I don't want to get anywhere near his character if that's the case.
Yeah, psionicist.
Okay. I don't need to be near you to kill you with my mind. I watched Scanners. It was awesome.
Nope. Watching people's brains exploding. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
So like I said, the mules also more or less they're very, very fixated people. Once they set themselves on a goal, they will stay on that track until either it's done, they're dead, or something comes along that is that will just change all of that.
Oh, I'm going to move this mountain 5 inches to the left if it kills me.
Yeah. You want to know what? Yeah. If a mule with a low enough intelligence, he might try to do that and end up killing himself trying.
Yeah.
Because they are fixated.
The mountain won.
Yeah. That was where his last words were.
Okay, you guys give us... oh, man, I want to be the head of the party and be the mule skinner. But anyway, tell us your mule stories, 20 Mule Team Borax or whatever, at THACOShammer@gmail.com.
Wow.
Wow, I did
wow.
That. Wow. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yes, let's move on.
To option.
Yeah, that's the way we're going to move on right now.
Yeah, to option package.
My personality undergoes a startling change.
You should meet me because I'm a great guy.
I like big fat men like you. When they fall, they make more noise. And sometimes they never get up.
Option package.
Option package. The Complete Gladiator's Handbook, DSR number 2419. It is a slap book. And who wrote it?
Let's see. That was our... Oh, goodness. I had to go scroll back because I was reading it as we were talking. Let's see. That is written by Walter M. Bass. He did the character creation and the arenas, and Colin McComb and in parentheses, the other stuff.
So it's like Mad Magazine and the usual gang of idiots.
Brom is all over this with his color illustrations and some black and white art as well as Tom Baxa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those two pretty much did, I'd say, probably about 90% of the art for Dark Sun, and probably more Brom than Baxa. Because, well, I was just going to say, because this is Brom's calling card, more or less.
This book here?
Yeah, well, just the Dark Sun line in general. He did almost all the art, all the color art for it. So, and not that many people knew of Brom before this. He was something of an unknown until they brought him in out of seemingly nowhere. And, this is before, the internet blew up. This is 1993.
Okay.
So, nobody really knew that much of Brom.
He really liked Dark Sun.
Oh, yes, he did. I mean, to the point where almost all of his art for several years after the Dark Sun line died kind of was still in that vein. Ultra muscular and detailed characters and things of that nature.
Conanish desert areas.
Weird looking armor, weird looking weapons, all that stuff.
Okay. Anyway, so this is all about how to be a gladiator in Dark Sun. Okay.
Yeah.
Sell me on it. Come on, sell me this.
Okay. As the gladiators are, of course, the ones in the games in the major cities and on Athos, and they're the ones who are fighting for reportedly their freedom, but the entertainment of the Dragon Kings.
Right.
The Sorcerer Kings, I should say, sorry.
Yeah.
And, they decided to come out with this splat book to kind of give a little bit more flavor. I wish they had come out with more, like, the complete Defiler's Handbook or the Preserver's Handbook, things like that. I wish they had continued with it. But, it has, 9 kits in there. The Beast Trainer, Blind Fighter, Arena Champion, Convict. That's kind of funny. The Professional Gladiator. Can we say WWF, anyone? The Jest, which is an interesting one. That's more of a theatrical performer than an actual combatant, really. But yeah, it's kind of interesting.
The con.
So he's the Professional Gladiator's manager.
Yeah, he's the mouth of the South Jimmy Hart to our gladiator.
I was thinking more like Paul Bearer, but okay.
Oh, my Undertaker. Anyway, the Montana.
Sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Baby doll, stop. I could do this forever. Stop. The Monterre, which is a mounted gladiator, and the Reaver, which is they're the ones who actually
brown fame, sadly. So it's not the Reaver brown coat fame, sadly.
No, not at all. The Reavers are the ones who actually go out and get and trap and capture the animals to bring to the arena for the gladiators to fight.
Eat.
Yeah. And then the gladiatorial slave, which is
short career path for most people.
Yes, exactly. A very short
and
career
path. If I was playing one, I'd name him Spartacus the 23rd.
A 23rd generation gladiatorial slave. Okay.
Yes, Spartacus the 23rd, yes. Oh, we all call him that. We just number them.
And he'd probably be a mule because just look at what those survival conditions do for the reproductive urge of the dwarf race. You know what? I think we're going to do this now.
That's something I don't want to see.
I'm thinking if you want to play a gladiator, going back to what you said, playing a gladiator in Dark Sun is more like you want to get your WWE on, this is the place to do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, until, of course, the PC says, I'm tired of this crap. I'm getting out of here. I want to be free. I want to be free to roam the deserts of Athos and risk my life just staying alive. Oh, did I say that?
Well, I assume most of these kits are for ones who have done that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's more of a, to give a little bit of flavor to the gladiator.
Right.
Of course, then you got they even have arena managers full on in this book. It's kind of funny.
Oh my God! He took that stone bench and broke it over his head.
Exactly. Yeah, they're basically just Templars who want to be in charge of arenas in order to further their own ambitions, I guess. You got arena necromancers, which are, the ones that people hate because, defilers are just absolutely hated because of what they use with their magic, which we will talk about in probably a future segment. Then they have, the gladiator abilities, their ability to optimize armor, unarmed combat rules, then, some new proficiencies also, such as like arena acting, which plays into, the gladiator class, because now not only are they fighting, but they're fighting in a certain way to get the crowd going, little pro wrestling in there. Different weapon proficiencies, new weapons, different kinds of armor. Of course, in Dark Sun, there's not that many full pieces of armor. They're almost all piecemeal. Right. Full sets of armor, I should say. But yeah, they're almost all piecemeal, yeah.
Yeah, this is where the players get the idea. Well, I don't have to have a full set of plate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, just have
money for bikinis, hedgehog thongs.
plus 5 chainmail bikinis, yes,
yeah. If I was a gladiator in Atlas, I actually was. I beat that guy in Life of Brian, who they throw out there and just runs around the ring and tires the guy out until he has a heart attack.
Yeah, you could probably play it. Yeah, an elf would be a good idea for that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going through as we're talking. They have rules for damage from different types of weapons. Because that not only is there
really they have that in the Dungeons and Dragons game. There's different weapons and they do different damage. Whoa,
no,
that's amazing.
No, that's not what I mean. Stop that. Wow. No, it's more along the lines of when you take a certain amount of damage, you take additional damage per round because of bleeding.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much just for arena fighting. It's not for, out in real life in combat, even though it could be used for that kind of thing. Then, once you get through all of that, then you get to see what these arenas of tier look like. And they have, like, these setups done by your man, Dave Diesel with Force.
Right on.
Mm-hmm. Where they show a side view of the arena, then they show a top-down view of the arena. It's actually pretty cool. You've got 8 different arenas, and of course, then they give you some rules on how to design your own arena and things like that.
Uh-huh.
Really?
It's cool, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it goes on. It has, if you want to just do a gladiatorial campaign, you can do that.
Do they have any magic items in the book?
Magic items? Let me see. No. Believe it or not.
Thought they'd have some gladiatorial themed, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think most of those kind of things are in, the actual box set.
Yeah, you probably just like Trident plus 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or net of entangling or something.
Well, we'll talk about that because there's a couple of things in there that you should probably know about it.
Okay.
But this is about the gladiators, so their big thing is, the tactics, the martial arts, the barehanded fighting, the standard special attacks, and the special weapons for the, this is the grunt fighter side of things, not the mage side of things. Back off with your magicness. We're just going to bleed here. Dang it.
Yeah, but they still use magic weapons and stuff, unless that's the thing, probably.
What do you mean?
No magic weapons, just go at it. Yeah.
Oh no, there are magic weapons in Atlas. Believe it.
Okay. No, I mean in the
gladiator pits, however.
The pits.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where I can see in high level combat, 10th level.
Tonight's main event. Ugluk, the Thrycreen, will attempt for the 47th time to power level his way through the sphere of the The Orb of Colors. The Chromatic Orb. Yes. Chromatic Sphere. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, Chromatic Sphere.
That would be something.
Exactly. Yeah, but but like you said, it's got nice little rules. Even those you remember in the movie Gladiator with Russell Crowe, where at the end where he fights the Emperor, and he's basically got I think he has like his hands tied behind his back or whatever it is, and they even have a table for that, where in order to make a fight between, let's say, an 8th level gladiator and like a 3rd level gladiator to make it fair, they blindfold the higher level one just to make the fight a little more entertaining, shall we say. Are you not entertained? Sorry. You got tournament rules and things like that.
The Hawaiians.
Special checks for those things, like if you're using impaling weapons and, you know what? That thing's stuck in him.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since most weapons are made of stone, bone, obsidian. There are not that many steel weapons in these games, that's for sure. In this game, that's for sure. So, yeah. It's a nice little supplement that enhances the gladiatorial experience, if you will.
I see. So this is a good book to get for that kind of thing. So it's a good
I definitely think so.
How old is it? I mean, when was it published?
1993.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this was like the first supplement that came out after the box set.
And one of the last gasps of the Splat books.
Yeah, that's true.
Because near the end, they just started getting real setting specific, like some Forgotten Realms stuff, some Dark Stun stuff, even some Spelljammer stuff. They
some Spelljammer, Dragonlance. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. And some of it was damn good, too.
Some of it was good. It's
Code of the Harpers was great.
Yeah, Code of the Harpers was one of the better ones. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and so does this for what it does.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to know, because you can apply this to role playing. You play the guy who won his freedom 15 years ago and has been adventuring ever since and looking for his place in the world and wants to settle down and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it gives, like I said, not only just these new rules and slightly different ways of doing things, but yeah, it even puts you in. It puts you in the gladiatorial mindset, which is always a good idea, at least. Although you could do the same thing for watching a couple of episodes of Spartacus or sitting down and watching Ben-Hur or something like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
First 40 minutes of Conan the Barbarian, the original.
Yes.
Not the remake, the real movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you mean Conan the Destroyer?
No, he wasn't. Although that first fight was probably the best fight in the game, but never mind. But yeah, you have plenty of source material out there, but this book will actually help you in terms of also the gladiatorial's viewpoint as pertains to the actual world you're in.
Remember, 2 men enter, tiger leave.
No, that's the key.
And it'd be fun for other games. I could see this for a Gamma World game.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to Thunderdome.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say no. I forgot what I was going to say. You go ahead.
Yeah, a Thunderdome situation would fit perfectly with this. I mean, plus you got all the mutations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you could throw a lot of stuff at them. Anyway.
Yep.
Anyway.
It all depends on the DM who's running it. That's all it comes down to. And
finding it now, kind of semi-easy to find. I've seen them on eBay before. I've seen it at half price before. The usual Splat book price at half price is like $8.
Oh, and I also need to mention, you can probably find these things in PDF format. If it's not out already, it will be.
Yeah, at Drive-Thru RPG.
Yeah, Drive-Thru RPG or a couple of other places, yes.
Yeah, their special little TSR/WotC store.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
And go get them. And then the original price was like what, $15?
I think it was 19, as a matter of fact.
Oh, it's getting up there for a Splat book.
Well, let me see. If you give me a moment, I can certainly look at it because I thought it was, but oh, darn it. Oh, there it is. $24.19, and the price was No, it was 15. You're right. I know why, because it said 18 Canadian. That's why it said. I thought it was.
Yeah, well, use Canucks, you're still screwed. But
no offense to our neighbors to the north.
Anyway, check it out. Half Price Books or eBay or wherever you can find it. Really cheap. Mm-hmm. Any final words on this? Full on, Brian?
Well, with a Gladiator's Handbook, it gives you all the tools so you can have gladiator fights, put prisoners in gladiator fights, have them bet on gladiator fights, have them rig gladiator fights, have them manage gladiator fights, have them liberate people from gladiator fights, however you want to play with that kind of a setting or a system and all the elements that are going to go in it. And if you ever wondered what that weird thing was Conan had strapped on his hands, you can probably find it in here, and beat someone to death with something with teeth and spikes and claws and Sharpie bits and try it out just to vent a little bit.
And where it's not thumbs down, it's thumbs up for the Gladiator Handbook.
Or thumbs sideways.
All right. Anyway, let's go on to Snipe Hunt.
If you only had a living brain.
What do you think? Escaped gorilla?
Listen, you're making enough noise to wake up the dead.
I don't have to wake him up. He's up.
It's time for a Snipe Hunt.
Snipe Hunt, and I'll probably get this wrong. The Kira?
They don't have an actual pronunciation for it, so yeah, Kira is how I would pronounce it.
Kire. You find it in the Monstrous Manual on page 213.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of... What?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So it looks like a large, multi-limbed, striped, horned bobcat with a real big sting at the tail. Several of them, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is one of those nasty. This is pretty much, if you're new to Dark Sun in any way, you take a look at this thing, and it lets you know what you're in for as far as adventuring on Athos. Because
it's a kitty. It's on the same back page of the Kobold. It's cute.
It's a kitty. Boy. It's a kitty that will not only claw you to death and probably eat you, it will also melt your brain.
Yes, you haven't lived until you've run up against a creature with animal to low intelligence that has psionics.
Yes, because almost every creature on Athos is psionic in one way or another.
Yes.
Which that's what we will also talk about in
everybody says, I've heard people say, Dark Sun, everything's psionic. Not everyone, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I need to get the Book of Vile Darkness's Flesh Ripper guy on here and give them opposable thumbs. Then they'll be perfect.
Boy.
And wings.
Oh. Yes. These are the things that Full On thinks of.
So this critter is 8 foot long. How many legs does he have? 6?
8.
8 legs. 8 legs. So it's kind of like the Displacer Beast in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
It is
more legs than that, actually. Go ahead.
It is a carnivore. It's rare. Get this. It's rare, but its organization is in packs.
Yes.
So it can't be that rare.
Well, it could, but it's just we wouldn't run into a pack of them very often, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, especially since it has an AC of 7 and THACO 13 and a hit die of 6 plus 6.
Yes.
And 7 attacks.
What is that? 2 claws, 1 bite. No, I take that back. Was it 2 claws, 1 bite?
6 bites.
Oh goodness! Now I have to do now. And not only that, they're fast. They get a -1 modifier to their initiative. Yeah. They're treated as small creatures in the terms of their initiative modifier when you're determining initiative.
Even though they're 8 foot long.
Yeah, uses its limbs, teeth, horns, and tail.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What about the horns and the tail?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. It's his foremost claws, the bite, the horns. And then it goes with secondary claws and its tail.
Whips that tail around, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking, 4, 8, 14, 22, 26, 30. We're talking a possible 36 points of damage just from that. So
we haven't got to the psionics yet.
No, we haven't. I mean, in as far as psionics go, they're not extremely powerful. But they are strong enough to where you will have problems.
5th level psionicist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
5th level
Disciplines, 2 sciences, 10 devotions.
Yep. Yep, project force, which is actually a very strong science. They can levitate.
Any creature has something like psychic crush. You give it a wide berth.
Yeah. And the thing is that this is one of the differences between 1E psionics and 2E. 2E psionics can affect the non-psionic. That was the difference between those two editions. So creatures like this, if you decide to throw this in a regular D&D world, these kind of creatures, if you threw a pack of these in an area, they would dominate this area very easily. And they're, they're just a being that, like it says in the description, they're not to be trifled with, and I agree with that.
Yeah, and it says here that they're a favorite game to many of the hunting tribes on Athos.
Mm-hmm.
The meat is some of the finest in all of Athos, and sought after by many, many.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And, the horns can be cut off. They use as spearheads.
Right.
They can be carved into daggers if someone's good enough at making weapons.
The tail, yes, can be used as a bone spike. It had the sharp. Oh, yeah.
The bone spike at the end, yeah.
And you can take the spikes out of the tail and use them for arrowheads.
Yeah, or darts for that matter, yeah.
And we're not even mentioning, the possible for the defilers and preserve, like teeth. All the components you usually get off an animal. Teeth, claws, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they're like a cornucopia of riches if you could survive the hunt.
Yes. If you could survive a combat with one of these things, I dare say you're pretty badass.
It's a dragon mindset. Yeah, he's big, you might die, but God, look at all the stuff we can get off of him.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And they even get the advantage because they're so quick, they get their -1 modifier to initiative rolls, and if you're using the optional modifiers to initiative, they're treated as small creatures even though they are large, and they get the +3 modifier instead of the +6. So they're quick. They're very, very, very quick.
Yes. Yeah, and they can kill you very, very quick.
Some might say they are cat-like in their speed.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding? Yeah.
Yeah, oh boy. Stop that.
These are one of the major critters to look out for on Athos.
Mm-hmm. And yes, I did put these in my own D&D campaign.
I was going to say, and any cruel DMs want to use them in any other world.
Oh yeah, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with lifting monsters from other settings, even though you're not, quote unquote, you're not supposed to. Right?
That's right. You told. Yeah, that's right.
You bet me.
That's right. You told me you have psionics in your world, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And when I rolled your character up, yes, I did check for psionics because I thought that would have been funny.
Well, if I had it, I wouldn't have used it. But anyway,
I would have made you.
So you said you've used it in your worlds before. What have you used?
I've dropped them in, but I have yet to actually, come up, put this up against a party. But I'm just looking at the kind of damage this thing can inflict, and I'm just like. Never mind the psionics, because I could see a pack of 4 of these things, just ambushing from cover with their psionics, and enough to mess up whoever they're going to jump. Then they all just jump on whatever it is.
I do think that falls in the category of one of the many, many, many problems that 2E had with some of its printing of monster manual entries, where they didn't reference the box text versus the table reference of the stat block, and they are mutually exclusive to the extreme, to the point where, they're a solitary animal. They're solitary unless they're mating.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Or unless you found a bred pair that for a couple months you're going to have some kittens on milk and a mated pair, and that's pretty much it. You really do not have to worry about encountering a pack of these unless you've just ripped open the local Ravagers, the local Reaver's cargo bay of critters he's taking into a gladiatorial pit, or a well-stocked gladiatorial arena where you've got a few of them all in a cage together,
yeah, that's
which
true.
could be bad for people.
Yeah, it could.
Might be bad for them when they tear each other up to get dominance or something like that.
I could see if a Reaver had one of these and he was transporting it back. I think that the smartest way to deal with a creature like this is to use a certain kind of poison, just enough to knock it out, not to kill it.
Yeah, knockout juice or something.
Yeah, exactly, and keep that thing drugged, for the entire trip back to wherever he's going.
Hey, give it to the mule. Let him beat it unconscious, and keep it that way. I'm gonna name him George. Love him and hug him and squeeze him and pet him and stroke him from tail to ears.
Call him George. Yes. But yeah, this is a rather dangerous animal. Yeah, I could make a case for a mated pair.
So how would you be using their power in unusual ways?
Say what?
How would you be best using some of their psychological psionic powers in combat? In not normal ways.
Now, psionics is it line of sight or not?
That depends. That kind of depends. Most of the time it depends on line of sight, but if you have certain psionic skills, line of sight is almost irrelevant. It all depends on what you got.
I was thinking, what if a cure worked? Well, this assumes more intelligence, I guess. But what if a cure worked as a pair with a Lacrata? Where the Lacrata's going, help me, and they get close enough for the cure to zap them with their mind.
Yeah.
Well, you don't even have to do the zapping with the mind thing because, the psionic attack and defense modes are one thing, but the other sciences and devotions are entirely another. Like the ability of the Kira to use levitation.
Yes.
I don't have to pick you up and dangle you like a cat toy.
Mm-hmm.
I can levitate myself.
Yeah.
And be lurking overhead where you're not expecting to need to look up for a threat and simply pounce on you.
Yep. It just drop on you.
Yeah, that'd work. Especially I was going to say.
Especially at night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, at night.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always hold a spear over my head.
Well, I could actually see a Kir using their psionics as a means to confuse or soften up the target before they jump on them. But, that's, because they're psionic, that would be the first thing to use. Yeah, the levitation, I was thinking of that myself, is that's a perfect vehicle for ambush. Who needs trees? Who needs trees? If you're just, sitting there in camp at night, you aren't going to see me. So I'm going to stalk up on you to a certain distance, then I'm going to levitate, and then I'm going to basically just fall on you. An 8-foot-long cat.
With claws going.
Yeah, claws going, exactly. And that's a pretty much an ambush situation if there was one. Exactly. So yeah.
That's what do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they can do the Darth Kitten thing from the YouTube videos and just hoist you up into the air and approach you at their leisure.
Yeah, you are not going to escape me. Just lift you into the air. Yeah, you could do that.
I find the resistance disturbing.
Exactly. There's a disturbance in the... Yeah.
Yeah.
You have failed to rub my belly for the last time.
Wow. Yeah, this is a kitty I would not want to get angry. No.
Keep the belly rubbed. Quick. Okay.
Yeah, rub its belly. Yeah, that's its weakness. This is weakness. Yeah. Rub its belly. Okay.
If it's still...
See, that's what you sell as a bill of goods to the gladiatorial slave. It's like, yeah, they're putting you up against Kyria tomorrow in the pit. Rub his belly. That'll make him immune, or that'll render you immune to his attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you got to get through its attacks first.
Is it still purring? Good.
Yeah, that's what I call a called shot for sure. Yeah, called shot belly. Oh man. I think we're done here.
Kira, try him out. THACOSEver@gmail.com. You can tell us about it. Okay. Oh. Now they're leading us into. After that, I sure want to get out of Dodge.
What?
This is it. This is what? If I take one more step, it'll be the farthest away from home I've ever been.
Getting out of Dodge.
Getting out of Dodge. Okay, the main meat of this, the main Pain the Dark Sun box set, TSR number 2400.
Correct.
Written by some guys we will never forgive for writing Dark Sun.
Well, you won't. Well, yeah, let's make that clear, Glenn. Some of us actually kind of like some of this stuff. Yeah, Troy Denning, who wrote the Prison Pentad, which is a novel companion to the setting. Yeah, and Timothy B. Brown. Those are the ones who wrote it.
I thought Troy Denning was like a conglomerate of guys who just call themselves Troy Denning.
No. I know what that was. That was Richard Allenson, the ones that did the whole Time of Troubles thing.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Troy Denning was one of the authors. I can't remember who else it was.
Okay, so I was mistaken. So this is
it's all right.
This is a real person. Okay.
Yeah, Troy Denning's a real person, yes.
And if I ever see him in North Texas, no.
No.
I'm not going to do anything. But
yeah, you're going to shake his hands and shake his hand. Said, you know what? You're a great author, but why'd you have to write Dark Sun? That's what you'll say.
I'll go to Braun and say, why'd you have to draw Dark Sun? No, I'm going to do that. But anyway, we got a box set here that consists of what, 2 books and some maps, and that's about it?
Let's see. That consists of. Oh goodness, where did my thing go? I just lost it. Oh, there it is. That is the rules book and the Wanderer's Journal. Yes.
Okay, and this was published.
This was published in 1991. That's interesting. I thought it was a little later than that. But yeah, 1991, and right off the bat, you notice, when you're just going through the chapters, there are 15 chapters just in the rules book, because it's taken what is in 2nd edition AD&D and given it a really hard tweak. PC ability scores now go up to 20, as opposed to 18.
Tell them the big perk, the big starting thing for everyone who ever encounters Dark Sun. What's the one thing that they discover right out of the gate?
They start at 3rd level.
Correct, because it's that hard, it's that tough in this game world for sure.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna die.
Well, it all depends on DM who's running it, but you can see. I mean, everyone have their racial abilities start at a certain point, but they almost all end at 20. And
it's because they made you start at 3rd, so there goes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's raise the ceiling a bit here.
Yeah, exactly. I think when they wrote this, they knew just how deadly they wanted to make this world. Uh-huh. So yeah, starting off at first level is not a good idea.
Okay, here's the question. So the stats go up to 20, right?
Correct.
For like fighters and stuff, is that 20 percentile?
No percentile. Only time you run to percentiles is if you have 18 strength, and that's only for the fighters. Yeah.
That's what I said, but it goes up to 20.
Yeah.
What if he has a 20 strength? Does he get percentiles for that?
No, there are no percentiles for that.
So 20 strength is better than 18 double aught.
Yes, it is. Yeah, 20. Go ahead.
Well, you're telling me that when you get 18, you can get percentile strength. What's
correct?
If you go to
if you're a fighter, yes.
What's the point if you go to 19 or 20?
Well,
you have 19 or 20. That's the point.
Yeah, that's
why do you think people try to get gauntlets of ogre power or girdles of whatever giant strength?
That's true.
So they can beat stick things.
But I would say, could you even pump the fighters even more by giving the old percentile from the 18? Could if you wanted to, but not in the rules. Okay.
If you wanted to import some of the other rules for things like, Cavaliers and their stat adjustment thing, probably, you could keep carrying that forward into the upper tiers.
I'm playing devil's advocate right now, so go ahead.
Let us get the main book out of the way, then we'll devil's advocate all the things that we want to do to it instead of play it as it's written.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, Grumpy, go.
We got, dwarf. Now, the major, at least, you've got the quote-unquote typical races that are familiar to D&D, dwarves, elves, half-elves, halflings, but they've been given one hell of a twist in this setting.
Because of the setting.
Yeah, because of the harshness of the setting, yes. The only ones that I think have gotten the least amount of tweaking is dwarves, to be honest. I'm looking at it right now, and, they're basically just focused workers, and that's kind of the dwarven mindset that goes from, every single campaign world I can think of that has dwarves.
Right. Elves who got tweaked less.
Who?
Humans.
Humans didn't get tweaked at all. You have a point. But the ones that got the biggest, the second biggest tweak, let's put it this way, in terms of gaming statistics, are elves. Evasion elves they have more or less the same abilities that elves in other gaming worlds have, but now they're just put in a different package and given a little bit more of a difference in personality and things like that. Elves in Atlas are like between 6.5 and 7 feet tall. Now, the majority of campaign worlds, elves don't hardly get past 5'6". And so that's a little different. Their culture.
So think of them as the Sunseer elves from ElfQuest.
Okay, fair enough. But they're a lot different in Atlas. Half elves are kind of the same, a little more, a little bit bigger, a little taller. But when a half elf character reaches 3rd level, they get the survival proficiency automatically.
Nice.
Because the problem with the whole thing with half elves is that whole they can't find a home in either society, but it's like taken to another level in Dark Sun.
Right. Does Dark Sun have any subraces? Any half orcs, say?
They have half elves, which I just mentioned. They have half giants.
Nice.
Which is kind of funny, at least to me. Averaging 10 to 12 feet tall, weighing something like 1,600 pounds. Mm-hmm. And the thing with half giants is that one of their personality quirks, they're so eager to please whoever they meet and talk to, they kind of change their lifestyles, their personalities to suit whoever they're trying to impress or please. That's an interesting role-playing aspect. Unfortunately, nobody in the game I played a half giant because that would have been interesting.
That would.
Now, the ones who got the biggest, yes, as you can hear,
we go.
Laughing, he knows where I'm going next. The ones that got the biggest tweak, whatever you want to call it, are the halflings.
Of course.
And the typical D&D halfling is
think of them as shaven Ewoks. They will eat you.
Yeah, exactly. They're called birchins and things like that, and they are just really nasty people.
And they ride dinosaurs.
Or giant lizards or whatever,
So it gives that Tolkien Hobbit having like 5 breakfasts and 3 lunches and stuff kind of puts it in a little different perspective.
Yeah.
No, these are hungry halflings. Hungry halflings.
Thank you. If you weren't going to say it, I was. But yeah, they're cannibals. They're just nasty creatures to deal with.
Yeah.
Kobolds with prettier hair and skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What? No. What? No gnomes?
No.
No gnomes. No gnomes. We have something better than gnomes.
Mike Stewart.
Mike Green.
We have bugs.
Yes.
What? Not Thryg. Oh, Thryg.
Yes, Thrycreens. Yes.
I hate those guys.
Thrycreens, which are they're pretty nasty opponents. I will say that, but
they make awesome body weaponry psychic warriors.
I don't doubt that for a minute.
Yeah,
great leap attack.
And then you say to yourself, hey, I got all these perks. I started 3rd level. Everybody's Sonic, including me. What could go wrong? Then
a lot.
Look at the world you're in.
Yeah, exactly. You are in a magically devastated world where water is the main source of survival. That's what people fight wars over. You have your sorcerer kings who have levels of...
I remember in the days when the warrior came out of the dust. He was fighting for the juice.
So this is like D&D version of Dune.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even go that
Road
far.
Warrior.
Yeah, Road Warrior / Gamma with some Gamma World thrown in. Yeah,
I think of Dune because of like, okay, they're fighting over water. Well, it's the same thing as a spice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's the whole thing about Dark Sun, and that's kind of where, because they wanted, I think the people who designed this, not just Troy and Timothy, but whoever was involved with it, they wanted to get away from the typical D&D trope of go fight the orcs or go fight the dragon, get the treasure, get experience levels, build a stronghold, retire, wash, rinse, repeat. I think that's what they were trying to get away from.
Well, in my opinion, I don't think they did it right, but...
Well, yeah, I tend to...
So the first step was to move to Tatooine. The second step was to unleash the portals of, demonic whatever, and blast the place with wild creatures.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, I said, the major goal of Dark Sun is not to so much accumulate levels. It's to, at the very beginning at least, and going on through the however long your campaign is, it's just to stay alive.
Yeah, to me that's like going way the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like...
Yeah. See, that doesn't work for me, because usually my first goal in a campaign is to die and come back.
Yes, someone wants to be a lich or something like that. Anyway, another thing that they decided to do a little differently is magic. Now, the spells in Dark Sun are roughly similar to what's in pretty much every other D&D campaign, but there's only two different ways to cast your spells, and that's to tap magical energy from the world around you. And there are two ways to do that. There's the Preserver, who, even though he casts his spells, he tries to do it in such a way that he doesn't destroy the environment around him. And then there's the Defiler, who just does it and doesn't care.
Yeah, and all the magical energy is sucked out of the world, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
And it doesn't really matter which one you play. Everybody hates them.
Well, yeah, actually, not so much. Preservers are more like they're feared, but they can kind of work around that. Defilers, no. Defilers, they just don't care. I like Defilers so much, I adapted them into my own campaign.
Okay, I got a question.
Go ahead.
What about godly magic, clerical magic?
Clerical magic, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm getting to that right now, Athos doesn't have deities. You have sorcerer kings, they masquerade themselves as gods, and things like that, but they're not real.
No clerics, no place to pray for spell.
There are three types of priests in Athos: clerics, Templars, and druids.
Yep.
The clerics are the free-willed priests tending to the local needs of the people with their talents.
Yep.
They get their magical energy directly from one of the four elemental planes: earth, air, fire, or water, not from any deity whatsoever.
Correct.
They can be a freeman or a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Templars are regimented priests devoted to a single sorcerer king.
I knew they
Going back to that old thing of, hey, if you have faith in a thing, that is the source of your deific power.
Yep.
So there's the Templars, who are devoted to the sorcerer kings, and there are the druids, who are, tied to particular feature or aspect. So you're going to have the dust druid, or you're going to have the oasis druid, or you're going to have, animals or whatever. And they can be whatever the druid is going to try to still be keeping alive.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have all that much healing there.
You have some, just not a whole lot. Because there just aren't a lot of these things, because no one in their right mind wants to deal with the Templars if they don't have to. The clerics, I see them as like the doctor who goes into the jungles of South America or something and tends to the populace. They're constantly being asked for things and being worked for whatever problems are going on. And druids, like Falon said, they're tied to a specific place, so they can't do too much.
Or feature. You could be the desert druid. You could be the dust druid. You could be the sky druid.
But I'm saying that's the only energy I can think of that won't take it out of the world.
Right. That's correct.
Divine magic.
Right, because they take their magic from whatever plane that they are worshiping, like the plane of fire, water, air, earth. Of course.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue.
No, I was going to say, it sounds like you'd even have trouble having an alchemist on Athos.
You know, that's an interesting concept.
I mean, where would healing potions come from? Athos.
So I'm glad you asked that question.
Yes.
Because there are no potions on Athos. None.
Scrolls?
They don't, scrolls. They have scrolls. No, what I was going to say is that healing potions are wrapped up in a whole different package now. They're fruit.
In other words, you know how you eat those plants when you're playing Resident Evil?
Yeah.
There you go. Chew on the cactus, buddy.
Yep.
So there are healing fruits.
Correct. You know, like you see an apple, let's just say, for argument's sake. Then
I'm a healing fruit.
I knew that was coming.
Awful. Did you have to?
No, I did not, but it was, worth throwing a funny voice for a moment. But no, they can be all kinds of things. There's, all of the weirdness that you can normally think of just go sideways, and all of your takes on, I want to be this kind of mage, I want to be that kind of mage. Well, you can be that kind of priest instead. I want to be the fire priest. Here, strike this match. It'll make you feel better.
Yeah.
See, I would regulate it like, okay, pears do this much healing, and this fruit does things, and an apple is a cure-all, will cure anything. Why?
Well,
because an apple a day.
Oh, you had to do that. No, that apple could be a potion of healing. It could be a potion of flying. It could be a potion of levitation. You don't know.
It could be a poison apple.
It could be.
Yeah.
We had to deal with that in the Dark Sun game we did.
You see, here's the prickly pear. I need you to swallow this whole. Don't chew it.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I'll heal you of all but 1d4 hit points of damage. Where do you think that came from?
The other thing about Athos is that metal is extremely rare.
It is.
Extremely rare. I mean, almost every other material can be used to make armor and weapons, and if you have a metal weapon, you are almost automatically a target for thieves. Because it's just that rare, and people would want it for whatever reason, to sell it or to use it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's something that shouldn't be understated in Athos. Not at all. Not at all. It's a rare thing to find a suit of metal armor. It's an extremely rare thing to find a steel sword.
It's a rare thing to find a piece of metal from a suit of metal armor.
Correct.
Not a whole suit.
Mm-hmm. Well, they actually have charts for it here, believe it or not. But, just to find, like, a chainmail shirt. That's just...
So you can have the wooden armor from, like, samurais or bamboo armor.
Yeah, it could be ceramic, it could be wood, it could be stone, it could be obsidian,
The skins of defeated enemies cured and boiled.
Then there's that.
Leather and all that.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, and go ahead.
I'm thinking that in Athos, looking at the world, I bet they have a lot of glass.
Yeah, they do.
Because they have sand everywhere.
Mm-hmm. You would think so. I mean, from things I've seen, it's ranged from dark desert futuristic looking stuff to the Flintstones. Just stone buildings with cutout, rounded cutout windows and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say, it can go either way, really.
And a Curie on a leash as the front yard security system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you can have these Flintstone cars you power by your feet, only you put fruit in them for fuel.
Well, no, you want to keep those because those are most likely magical potions. Yeah, I just found what I was looking for in that. It says, on Athos, potions come in the form of magical fruits or berries. The juices of the fruit hold the magical properties of the potion, and the fruit must be eaten to release the magical effect.
And what are the kinds of fruit that bards eat? Beans. It's a musical fruit.
Oh, God. The more you eat, the more you toot. Yes. Oh, Glenn, thank you for that.
My reed's broken. No, sorry.
Yeah, that sounds like a personal problem. But I mean, now getting to of course you've got the typical NPCs in a particular city. You've got tons of Templars wandering around. You've got your peoples, and you got the whole thing is that with Dark Sun, there are two goals. The first one is to survive. That's the first. The second one, more or less, at least the way I've been informed on it through playing in Dark Sun, is that at some point you need to overthrow a Sorcerer King. That means you need to be get high enough in level to take him on. And that's a major challenge.
See, this is where the Conan part comes in, because you remember he started as the lowest of the low.
Mm-hmm.
And by thievery and fighting and getting riches and all this, he became a king.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
And it's pretty much the same idea in Dark Sun, except it's just a lot harsher, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, that basically covers the rules book.
Okay.
Now,
the other book.
The Wanderer's Journal is more an overview of Athos. Just what it is, how it is, the societies, the different cities, the tier region, which is, got a bunch of different cities in it, which are controlled, each one's controlled by a Sorcerer King.
Right.
And, Ephesian society is actually interesting. And, it's, of course, as we've said, and, causes you to grumble a little bit, from the lowliest slave to the most powerful Sorcerer King, psionics pervade all levels of Ephesian society. Almost every individual has some mental ability, although, a lot of them don't know their own true strength within that. That means that, at the very least, all the NPCs and so forth, they at least have wild talents, if not devoted to the psionicist class.
So everybody has midichlorians. I mean, psionics.
Yes, and you should make sure to snipe in the head the little farm boy hanging out there at the moisture farm.
But I wanted to go to the Taji Station pickup.
Or the little,
Shut up.
Or the little kid slave who's working for Watto. Yeah, I know.
Exactly. But as it says, the Sorcerer Kings are the ones who are in charge of the cities, and they're the ones who are almost all of them are evil, and at some point they need to be overthrown. It's just up to the PCs whether or not they can get strong enough in order to take them on.
You know what would be a good scenario for this?
What's that?
Watch the Scorpion King, the original.
Yeah. That's a good call.
That's a Dark Sun plot right there.
Yeah. You just take it and just make make the actual region a lot harsher than it is. Yeah, I can agree with that.
I just love to sit on a throne and go, "Did you smell?"
Oh God! Wow, you're in rare form tonight, Glenn.
Must be deodorant. Anyway.
Yeah, you need a shower.
We're saying the book is kind of like the Atlas of Athos.
Yeah, gives an overview of the region, the society, the different races and things like that. And it's actually an interesting read, believe it or not. I mean, I'm impressed with the way they were able to, just completely go. This is where it impresses me, where they go away from the majority of D&D tropes.
Mm-hmm.
The problem
I like Chapter 4.
Chapter 4. Oh, the Atlas.
Oh, the alignment.
Oh, the alignment. Oh, that's right. Yeah, let's
talk about alignment for a moment.
Let's get into that, because even that gets a little bit of an Ephesian twist.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it gives you a really decent, the half giants, of course, because of their indecision, their mental indecision, and their need to please whoever they're talking to. They flip-flop on alignment all the time. One half of their alignment will remain fixed, either the lawful, neutral, chaotic bent or the good, evil bent, but the other half will change, just depending on their environment. So I could see a true neutral, let's say, a true neutral half giant going from lawful neutral to chaotic neutral to neutral good in the space of an adventure, depending on what's going on around him.
Right. So
see, that's cheating because you can't do that. He's got to pick one half that stays fixed.
That's what
you can't just say it's true neutral. No, you had him do law, neutral, and evil, or law, chaos, and evil.
Mm-hmm.
If he's true neutral, he has to decide: is his neutrality fixed in law and chaos, or is neutrality fixed in good and evil?
Okay, fair enough.
That's what it says.
Hey, cool. I could play like basic that way.
You would like to, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wait till you get to the next fits.
So there's no way that half giants can avoid some kind of evil at some point.
Sure, they can. They follow their environment, and they don't have to change. They may change, and it's they can go for months at a time without shifting. But if circumstances change, that piece of their alignment that's mutable will slide.
We're always going to be watching that guy.
Right.
So
beware the chaotics. That's all I will say.
Just keep him in good company.
Yeah, exactly. You just get a good person and just say, you know what, you are this guy's moral compass. You keep him out of trouble.
You're his Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
the person eats him.
Oh, and you were saying, Thalon, what's next?
Desperate situations and alignment.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Well, they're talking about, they give the example of a party characters that are really short on water, and considering who's in the group, it pretty much gives a good outline of what a lawful good character would do in such a situation, opposed to lawful evil.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I was saying, like, the lawful good will have make sure that everybody gets a fair share of water.
Right.
Even those who are like beyond hope because of dehydration, things like that, as opposed to like a lawful evil character who will say, fine, everyone who is able-bodied gets a fair share, but those who are too far gone can just die.
Right.
Things like that. It's interesting.
And severe desperation.
Yeah.
I guess it's good role playing. So what else does this book have?
Oh, go on.
Well, there's all kinds of other odds and ends. They do. This is the area where in the box set you're going to find the magic that you were talking about and the money and equipment. Money is basically, ceramic bits instead of metal.
Yeah.
There is metal still of great value because metal is so rare, but really the most commonly used coin is going to be ceramic.
So, but we can take wood nickels, right?
Wood is probably even rarer than metal in office.
Really?
This is true too. Especially where you are when you start.
So it's like all adobe buildings and stuff?
Made out of stone. Yeah, just think of bedrock. Just a lot with a Brahm twist, that's all.
I'm thinking more about the Southwest and, the Indians out there with the adobe.
Yeah, the adobes and things like that.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there's, another thing they have along with the rule books, they have the player aid cards. And it's art, showing different things like, caravan wagons, things like that. Then 3 people out in the middle of the desert dying of dehydration, basically. They're sweating out all their water, and, they got some maps, and they actually have a picture of someone in one of the forested areas on Athos. And, it's kind of strange looking at it, but it's nice little art, Then there's a picture of a Thrycreen who looks like he's about to throw his spear at an Aarakocra, which is, the bird people.
Right.
And, it's interesting art. It sort of puts you in the, mindset for playing in a world like this because, as I've said before, it's just completely
something to keep in mind for when you're talking about a caravan for Athos. A caravan in Athos is not a string of dudes on dromedaries and horses trudging along. Think Jabba's sail barge on ginormous slave logs.
Yes.
So slave-driven log rollers.
Yes.
It's a rolling palace is how you get from place to place because you need to have all of your amenities with you and some protection from the sun.
A lot of protection from the sun.
Okay.
And a lot of amenities with you.
I think I know what to do in this world. First, I plop Carcosa in it, but then no. I might, but screw.
Do you have wood for sheep?
Screw the other stuff. This is going to be D&D spaghetti western.
Yeah, you could easily do that, even with sort of a spaghetti western with a little bit of Ben-Hur thrown in with it. With the player aid cards on the back, they have on the front they have the art, which I mentioned, but on the back it's a setup of an adventure. The first one is where the PCs are all slaves in the slave hold, in the caravan, and now they get to, try to escape. And it just starts from there. As a matter of fact, the first one, the Melkalot Caravan, that's the one where I think we started our Dark Sun game in.
Okay.
Because it's like, okay, you guys are all tied up. What do? I try to escape. Things like that.
Of course.
And they go in sequence. Like the second one, which is out of the slave hold. Now you've got to get out of the caravan. And things like that. It just keeps going. It's like I said, it's another way to kind of get into.
And pretty soon you're on your way. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to dress the half giant as a slave girl. He's going to threaten snoo to anybody who gets in our way.
Death by snoo.
Hey, that worked in Scorpion King. Michael Clark Duncan is a slave girl. Wow.
May he rest in peace.
Yes.
But yeah, but getting just kind of giving like a bit of just a complete overview of the setting. I mean, I like it well enough. I just think they just went a little too far in trying to be radically different, taking second edition D&D and putting this kind of a spin on it. That's my personal thing. It also depends on the DM running the game, but the whole problem with survival being goals 1, 2, 3, and 4 of a PC party, it's too easy to just be, to basically just die of exposure, trying to get from one city state to another.
Exactly. You got to have those extraordinary circumstances that let you survive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, before you even try to leave the one you're in, you have to have a lot of different equipment and enough water to make the journey if you're lucky.
Right.
I think
gone are the days of we head off for the sunset and go out into the wilds to seek our fame and fortune. No. You're trying to get to a place or you're going to die.
Yeah. To get food, get water, or you're going to die. Yeah.
Okay. To summarize, what did this sell for in the day?
This sold for, I believe, oh goodness, where is it? $20, believe it or not.
And I've seen it at half price for as low as 10.
Yeah.
Intact.
Mm-hmm. With all the maps and everything?
I believe so. In fact, I still think there's one on the shelf down here on my local one.
One thing.
Yeah.
They even say it on the back of the box set. They say, in order to explore the world of Dark Sun, you need a copy of the Complete Psionics Handbook.
Go ahead, say what you want to do. You got to have the World of Dark Sun. You got to have the Complete Psionics Handbook.
Yep.
Because we're going to go off of this like we're all up in that Eastern Seaboard witchcrafty thing.
And that's the first thing I yank
Don't
out.
ask what Dark Sun can do to you. Ask what you can do to Dark Sun.
Yeah. And that's the first thing I yank out of there. Psionics.
Well, yes, we're.
I know. I'm not
aware that you dislike psionics,
and we're well aware you have to tell people I dislike psionics. Okay.
That disclaimer has to be made.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, come on, what are we on? What are we on? 50? What show is this? 58 or what?
Huh?
Hey, I don't need the Book of Psionics if I'm going to throw Dark Sun and Athos into my Star Wars campaign. Now, do I?
True. No, you have the Force.
No, because you have the Force.
And the dark side, yes.
Oh, man, I can only imagine.
See, it's been that long and we know him.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay.
This is very true. You have a point.
Let's give some stars here. Full on, what do you think? 1 to 5. How useful is this for you?
I give it a 2 for a D&D campaign and a 4 for importing the materials into other game systems.
Like Star Wars, yes. If you have a Ravenloft plan...
Oh, Car Wars.
Car Wars? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Now we got an idea.
Hell yeah.
Let's make this the Road Warrior. Why not?
Yeah, then they'll plop it all down into Carcosa and we'll be happy.
Oh.
Remember the Carcosa and wacky races.
You want to give another shout out?
Hey, just make it a very unpleasant continent on the Iron Kingdoms.
That works.
That definitely works.
Anyway, Brian, how about you?
I'll give it 3.5 for, because it was a very good attempt by TSR and the powers that be to make something different. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give them that, but I just think that they just went a little too far in it, that it's such a deadly world that the very environment can kill you so easily. Mm-hmm. That's the only problem I have with it, really. I mean, and of course that comes down to DM style, but the DM I was playing under was, a pretty much a stickler for everything in the book. So, yeah.
So, I'll give it a 2, mainly because one, there's Sonics, which is easily fixed, in my opinion. Two is just, I don't want my character to work that hard just to live another day.
To get several gallons of water in him a day, yeah.
Right. To me, survival is not its own reward in these games. Mm-hmm. But I'll give it 2 because there's some things you can take away from it and use in other places.
Yes, you can.
And you can, with some help, retool the game into something you want or like.
Yeah, you certainly can.
And look at it this way. Dark Sun is one of those games where, very much like Paranoia, they go out of their way. They have a whole section on, you need to set up a character tree. You need to have a stable to draw from for replacements.
Yes,
either as the course of adventure play, I'm totally unsuited to this portion of the campaign. I need a different character to play and continue. Cool, you can switch that. Or if you die.
Yeah, true. All right, well said. Go out and look for it. You might enjoy it. Who knows? It's out there. What can I say? Well, anyway, we're going to close this flat book again. And get away from that Athos place, shake the sand out of my shoes, and, we're back in Elminster's, or Ed Greenwood's, study with Elminster in them. Or maybe
you need some aloe for that sunburn.
Oh yeah. Get this bald dwarf away from me.
Tonight we sit down and close the book on the tell. From the days when my father's father told of the warrior who walked off into the desert never to be seen again.
But until then, we're going to close. We're going to end the show. Say goodbye, Full On.
Goodbye, Full On.
Oh, goodbye, Gamer Nation. Have a wonderful time.
Okay. Brian?
Until next time, folks, just remember, even that little bug over there can melt your brain.
Yeah, and I'm the bug. I'm DM Glenn, and we'll see you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's hammer. Bye-bye. Oh, boy. Well, I got to say that even though I've reevaluated some games on here, but I've got to say...
THACO's hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.